have you? I knew you were, because I could see you over there, and I was like, Mills wouldn't let that happen.
I don't know what she means by that. I genuinely don't know what she means. But let her be emotional tonight.
100%.
And then...
At times I make certain comments and then I feel bad because I think, oh my God, I'm being insensitive. But then people just prove me right. And at the end of the day, this is what I meant by I don't have any empathy for Sean. And this is what I meant by Lucinda is one of the people that I dislike in the Love Island franchise because of how she's behaved on other seasons. So anyone who's shocked by her hasn't watched her before. Anyone who's shocked by Sean hasn't watched Sean before, because Sean did the same thing he did to Omar. He did the same thing to Shaq, and now he's doing the same thing to his best mate. Nobody should be surprised by that. And then whoever really likes Millie needs to explain to us, because I don't get why in the first quarter of the episode that they spent all that time on Millie, showing us Curtis crying, showing us Millie and Zach who barely said anything. And yet we've got other islanders like Leanne who we barely saw. We just saw her in the background as though she hasn't been there from day one. Make it make sense. Really make it make sense. What's the purpose of bringing in people if you're not going to show them? What's the purpose of not just tell them that you're going to be background features in the season? That's it. And let us as viewers know. That way we know what to do with our time. And then Belle, come on, it's time. It's really time. It's not that deep. It's Sean is the last person you should be throwing that much of a tantrum for. There are other guys you could have thrown a tantrum for, not Sean. Definitely not Sean. He's not worth the tears. He's not worth the drama because he isn't, whatever. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by to Girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars Season 3, Episode 17. Anyway, so we have the villa. The villa is still reeling, obviously, because of the whole situation with Sean, Lucinda, and Belle. I personally don't understand the big deal with Belle. I think she's doing a bit too much. I think she should, nip it in the bud. There's no need for her to continue the way she's behaving. We have Lucinda sit down for a chat with Tommy. She says, she was really pooping herself. She feels really bad because she developed feelings for Sean. She never intended to do so, but this is something that's happened. And so she wants to explore that. You have Tommy tell her that, he was exploring with Kira, but he feels like there's something missing. And he's sort of implying that he still likes Lucinda, but Lucinda is saying she's set on this boy Sean, and personally I don't understand why Tommy is groveling, because at the end of the day Lucinda is going to Lucinda regardless of what country the Love Island is in. So the idea that he thinks he still stands a shot with her, good luck to him. Good luck to him. Ask that know that there's nothing there, so he's wasting his time. Kieran sat with Sammy, telling her how much he missed her. Personally, I don't get it. If you're going to show us boring couples like Kieran and Sammy, then show us Leanne and Scott. What's the purpose of having them there? Be a couple that's loved by many and you're not showing them, only for you to show Kieran saying, oh, I really missed you. I was so excited to see you, and showing us that kiss. What's so special about Kieran and Sammy that Leanne and Scott don't have? Personally, I don't like it. It walks like a duck, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, must be a duck. We say this every season. Last time we had Catherine who couldn't find a partner. We have Leanne who's found a partner from day one, and yet we don't get any airtime. Anyway, I'm off my ranting box. Whitney sat down for a conversation with Connor. Sadly for Connor, he is too nice, and I think girls love a guy with a bit of edge, and this is why, as good looking as he is, as physically fit as he is, the girls are still sort of dancing around the pole. And personally, I feel like Whitney is going to miss a good thing, because they did have a conversation about the Shaq comments where she said, she wishes Shaq had stayed and Connor had gone home. She doesn't see the big deal. I hope she reflects on it and one day actually owns up and apologizes for that, because it didn't make sense. She says, she struggled to find depth with Connor, but immediately after meeting this guy, Yemen, they're already doing that. I feel like Yemen is using Whitney. If someone like Leanne were to be single, he would pounce on her. He would pounce on her immediately. So the idea and the audacity to think that he is all set on her, I would love that for Whitney, but I don't think Yemen is the guy for her. You then had Curtis sit down for a chat with Millie. This was a wasted time. I personally don't know who really likes Millie. I said it before, I'll say it now. They want Millie to win, and they're looking for a guy that will stand beside her the same way they did Jess and what's his name, Sammy, the guy she won with, because she was busy talking to Curtis, telling Curtis that she's got a stronger connection with Zach, and she felt like there was something missing with Curtis. Curtis was very upset. He started crying, and it's like this man needs to tell us exactly what it is about Millie that he's stuck on. Did he think he was going to win with Millie? Was that what he was promised? I really don't get it, and I don't get why he's so upset and so agitated every time they sort of agreed to say, this is the end of the road for us. And then Curtis started crying again. They had to go to the day beds. He had another cry session. From there, he went to the bedroom. And it's like, Curtis, what exactly is it about Millie that you're crying about? Have you had a crush on her since her season and you've been looking for an opportunity to sort of couple up with her? Make it make sense, because something is missing. Anyway, you have, Millie then go and pull Zach for a chat. Zach is just following the tide. Do I think he's into Millie? No. But I think he wants to win. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to stay in the villa. I think he wants the endorsements that will come with being coupled with Millie, because Millie is doing the most for him. He's not. He barely seems interested in her. They sat there, they spoke about Curtis and the fact that, she was speaking to Curtis and Curtis was really struggling. They then tried to go to the terrace. Curtis was in the bedroom. They ran back. They sat down. And then she spoke to him about going to the hideaway. And all he could say was, is that an invitation? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think he likes Millie, but I don't think Zach likes Millie as much as she likes him. It's not giving that. And I don't know why we're continuing to be fed them so that we can buy into whatever nonsense they're trying to sell. Because to me, something is not genuine. Something is not clicking. You had Helena sit down for a chat with Tommy. Tommy was upset because he was saying, Sean is my friend. I told him every single thing that was going on with me and Lucinda. So the idea that I went away for 3 days and then I came back and he and Lucinda are a couple doesn't make sense to me. And it's like, buddy, Sean got Omar dumped because he wanted Matilda, let alone you. If he knows that that's going to keep him and Lucinda together, he's prepared to dump you. So the idea that you didn't say it, because Scott tried to warn every single person in the villa and you all thought he was an idiot. So, hey, deal with it as you want. Lucinda, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. Lucinda is very smart and Lucinda knows how to annoy people and to trigger people, because the idea that she went and she tried to speak to Belle and people told her, give Belle some time, because Helena said to her, leave it and deal with it tomorrow. And yet she kept talking, oh, Belle, I know you don't like me. I know you think I'm the most evil person in the world, but I just want you to know. And it's like, Lucinda, what are we after here? What are we trying to aim for? Where are we going with this? Because it doesn't make sense outside of the fact that you just want to trigger her and then you can play victim to the idea that she sort of called you out. When she didn't get the response she wanted, Lucinda, she then went into the kitchen and started sort of speaking to Millie about how she felt like, she shouldn't be treated by Belle the way she was being treated. She just followed her heart. She did what was best for her. I love the non-verbal conversation that Leanne was having with Imani, because they were just giving each other eyes and side eyes and just thinking, oh my God, what is this? What is this? Because this whole situation, Lucinda is not a victim. I don't know who told her she's a victim. So the idea and the audacity to try and sell herself as a victim, I don't get it. Helena then decided, she was going to pull Carrington to the secret garden. This is Helena in truest form. She hasn't learned anything. They went to the secret garden and she was asking him, did you miss me? I missed you. What's your position? Where do you stand? And he said, I'm nobody's second option. I'm not going to suddenly be someone for, this woman, just for Belle, just because the person she was in a couple with is now doing something else, because you can tell that she really had feelings for him. And it's like, yeah, I think Carrington should stay in the villa, but personally I don't think Helena is it for Carrington. I think Carrington would have been better off with someone like Sammy. Sammy, there's nothing there between her and Kieran outside of the fact that they just want the win. Anyway, they shared a kiss. Helena was excited because this is what she wanted. This is what she wanted. She wants attention. She got attention and she's good. She doesn't mind playing second fiddle. To then have Belle be upset about this whole situation, I was side-eyeing her. I really was side-eyeing her because it didn't make sense to me. Why are you upset at the idea that Carrington is looking for somebody else? You didn't want him. You were dragging him along. You came back with him to the villa. saying that, Sean was your number one. Now that your number one is gone, you're suddenly sort of looking back. I don't get it. The Islanders got ready for bed. Whitney, I didn't like what she did. The fact that she was making out with Yemen in front of Connor didn't make sense to me. At least break up with Connor, or at least tell Connor that there's nothing there. I'm happy to continue talking, but just know that you're my number two. This is my number one. Not to do that in front of every single person. I didn't like it. I really didn't. Anyway, you had Belle come in. She kicked Sean out of bed because she said he wasn't going to share her bed after what he had done with Lucinda. And it's like, you're making Sean's head bigger than it should be. There's nothing there. It's not that deep for you to be throwing all this tantrum. It's one thing if you're throwing a tantrum over someone else, but for Sean, he's not worth the energy and the time you're sort of spending, sort of whining and groaning about him anyway. Anyway, everybody went to sleep. In the morning, you had everybody wake up. And surprisingly, Yemen felt it was a good idea to go and lie in the same bed with Whitney and Connor. That didn't make sense. I love that you had Scott sort of tease Whitney to say, focus on your man sandwich, because she had either guy on either side. And then you had the debriefs. Personally, okay, mainly the debriefs were the situation with Connor, Whitney, and Yemen, because Connor saying, he didn't like the fact that they were making out in his line of vision. That is very disrespectful. So he feels like he needs to have a conversation with her. I totally agree with it. You had Belle. Belle is still in her feelings about the situation with Sean and Lucinda, and it's like, girl, you need to suck it up, otherwise you're going to continue to moan about this. You have the USA girls talking about their connection and where they stand. Not impressed by it. On her part, Millie is giddy. She's excited because at the end of the day, she got what she wanted. She slept in the hideaway with this guy. That was very insensitive as far as I'm concerned, because she wanted to go to the hideaway because she didn't want to be kissing this guy in front of Curtis. And it's like, maybe the thought is worse than him actually seeing the two of you. Have you thought about that? Maybe the idea that he's sort of having visions of what you're doing in the hideaway is even worse than what you're doing. You had Belle moaning that she didn't like the fact that Carrington had been saying that she was his number one. She was his number one. Suddenly he took Helena to the hideaway, and it's like, madam, which is it? Are you upset about Sean, or are you upset about Carrington? We're getting too much whiplash. Make up your mind who you're interested in. You then had Whitney sit down for a chat with Connor, and Connor pulled the plug on that and said, we have to put a pin in it. There's nothing there. We can't continue to go in circles. Whitney is saying, oh, I'm still open to getting to talking to you. No, you're still open to keeping him on the back burner in case things don't work out with Yemen. That's not you being open to a connection with him. So I'll give him a lot of respect and sort of praise for standing up for himself and saying, Whitney, you're my friend. I love you, but this is it. This is the end of the road. Girls are going to regret having let go of such a nice guy like Connor, in my opinion. You had Zach and Carrington having a chat, and Zach was sort of saying to Carrington, Belle is upset with you, and he's saying, but I'm second choice. Why should I continue to put myself through that? Why should I put up with someone playing me only and showing interest only because her number one is gone? I don't get it, and I totally agree with that. Sean sat down for a conversation with Tommy. Tommy was expressing himself. He's not happy at the fact that he feels like his friend betrayed him. Yes, your friend betrayed you. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because this is Sean. This is who he is. He's always going to do this. So it's up to you to decide. Are you going to put up with it, or are you going to move on and do something else? I think Tommy just did it just for the sake of it, because he was trying to save face. I don't think he did it because he was upset with Sean. I feel like he's already seen through Lucinda and knows that Lucinda's just game. That's all she's after, and she's not after a serious connection. You then had a conversation between Connor and Amani. I think they would make a cute couple. I really do. I hope Amani gives him the time of day, because he seems like one of the sweetest guys. If she's after something serious, something that's sort of heartwarming, then Connor is her guy. Unless she wants a player just like everybody else, hey. And then this triangle between Kira, Curtis, and Jack, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it, because I thought they were actually having a great conversation. They were talking about the number of kids they want. They were talking about their values and what they want from a relationship. And so for Jack to immediately choose that moment to come in, interrupt that conversation didn't make sense to me. Given the fact that he left Kira for what's her name for Cher. So I don't know whether production have told him that Cher is going another way, so you need to move to sort of shift left. It didn't make sense to me. I personally didn't understand why he felt the need to have a conversation. Oh, I still want to get to know you. I still think there's something there. There's nothing there, but keep it stepping. For Belle to continue to be moaning about the guys and saying it's the same thing, different font, I do not get it. Carrington is not her partner. Sean is not her partner. She needs to look for somebody else. She let go of Shaq. That was a better option. That was someone who was truly interested in her. These other two guys are using her as a placeholder. Eventually, she sat down for a chat with Carrington and she was saying to Carrington, I don't understand. You said I was your number one. And so for you to go from saying I'm your number one to suddenly you're going to the hideaway, it doesn't make sense. And it's like, you came here and you lost your marbles when you found out that Sean was exploring something with Lucinda. So the idea that you expected this man to sit here and wait for you to make up your mind doesn't make sense. Really, it doesn't make sense. And at that moment, that's when Sean decided that he was going to take Lucinda to the secret garden. Sean is winding her up. He's trying to make sure he actually agitates her so much that, the idea that he's the favorite guy has gone to his head. He's the one who initiated the secret garden. He's the one who led the way to the secret garden. So for, Belle to be upset with that doesn't make sense. She can't be upset with Lucinda because Lucinda is not responsible for Sean's actions. They went to the secret garden. They were making out in the secret garden. Belle was upset about that. It was interesting to see her go from complaining to Carrington that you told me I was your number one to suddenly you are ignoring me, you're going to the secret garden with Helena and kissing her, to her walking in to everybody else in the changing room and starting to complain about Lucinda. I love that Scott said, it's not just Lucinda, it's the two of them. So if you're going to blame someone, blame the two of them because they are responsible for whatever's going on here. For Belle to continue to sort of pump, it's enough. It's enough. 5 minutes should have been enough for you. It's not that deep. Sean has never felt you like that. And so stop annoying us. You need to do better for yourself. You need to keep it stepping. I hope they bring in other guys and she picks somebody else. Because at the end of the day, I don't think whoever's in the villa is it for Belle. So maybe it's either she goes home or she waits for somebody else. She needs to stop wasting her time with Sean. Sean is not it. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 16. Bye everyone.